Tonight on To The Point, California's gas prices.
Gas prices are going up in July, but one California lawmaker says they could go up even more very soon. Hear how he plans on tackling it and how California drivers are responding.
Plus, California Senator Alex Padilla speaks out after being removed from a Homeland Security news conference.
I was forced to the ground.
What he's calling on lawmakers to do. And later, celebrating Pride, how one local advocate is creating safe spaces and joyful connections for the queer community. Good evening. Thank you for joining us on To The Point. I'm Becca Habiger. We start with breaking news tonight. Evacuations are in place for a wildfire burning about 2 miles east of Shingle Springs in El Dorado County. The Bonanza Fire is burning along Bonanza Auto Road. Evacuations are underway for those living along and near Crystal Boulevard, China Hill Road, Quartz Drive, Bumper Road, and Sierra Oaks Drive. Evacuation warnings are in effect for those east of Highway 49. A temporary evacuation point has been set up at the Placerville Library. ABC 10's Garjpal Sangha joins us live from El Dorado County tonight near the fire. Garjpal, what do people need to know right now?
Yeah, right now they're asking people if they're in the evacuation zone to evacuate. And what you guys just missed about 10 seconds ago, you can see a little bit of the glow there. That was retardant that was dropped by one of the air crews. They have been doing that a lot more because this is the area that has really been picking up. The rest of the fire, not so much, but obviously this is the area that they want to control. Now, to give you guys a better vantage point on where we are by Wildcrest and Kingville Roads. Where that fire started is just west over there by Bonanza Auto, and the Highway 49 is just east of us. But right now what crews are doing, you can take a look way over there. You can see that fire engine there. Crews are doing structure protection at this point. They're making sure that the air attack can kind of slow this fire down, but they're making sure to save as much property as they can. We don't have a number as to if anything has been destroyed, if anything has been damaged, but we're still working on that assessment. But right now, from what we can see from just a few hours ago, the smoke isn't as much as we have seen. So that is the good news, if there is any right now, but crews are just doing their best. Heavy air attack, ground crews are doing their best as they can, but this is a very difficult terrain. There's some very steep canyons that fire crews have to get in there to really knock out this fire. So it's a all hands on deck to try to really slow down this fire. But again, as I mentioned, that good news, the smoke has lessened. But the question is, can fire crews continue to really put this fire out? And right now the winds haven't been bad. So that's the good thing about this fire, is the fire crews have been really knocking it down, but hopefully they can continue that momentum. Reporting live from El Dorado County, Garjpal Sangha, ABC 10.
Garjpal, thank you for that live report. Stay safe out there. Also happening now in Sacramento, crews are searching for a missing swimmer in the Sacramento River. Fire officials say a man in his 20s went into the water near the boat launch off Garden Highway without a life jacket. He began struggling and eventually went underwater. Witnesses say he never resurfaced. Rescue teams are now searching the area. And you can get alerts like this story sent straight to your phone as soon as it happens. Just download the free ABC 10 app to your phone. Well, a California lawmaker is warning drivers gas prices could go up by a few bucks as soon as next year. Now he's requesting an audit of the California Air Resources Board, or CARB, to see if there's a way to track and slow the rise in the cost of gas. ABC 10's Jeannie Nguyen joins us in studio to discuss the goal of the audit and how California drivers are bracing themselves. Jeannie?
Well, Becca, with the state's gas tax expected to go up in the next 2 weeks, Republican Senator Brian Jones says Californians can't afford another increase. He says the policies passed by CARB are driving up the cost for drivers, and he's hoping the audit will show that.
Gas is costing enough where, vacations are cheaper flying than driving, which is something different.
Instead of traveling for fun, Jen Ross has found herself planning more staycations as she has been feeling the financial impacts from current gas prices.
It really stops us from traveling like we'd want to travel. We just kind of stick around and have staycations.
On July 1st, California's gas tax will automatically increase an additional 2 cents, totaling 61.2 cents a gallon.
Drivers here in Sacramento say gas is already not affordable, and even a penny more could put a strain on their wallets.
Every 2 cents counts.
Republican Senator Brian Jones says California drivers should brace themselves for more increases. With the recent amendments made to the low carbon fuel standard by the California Air Resources Board, Jones believes gas prices could soar to more than $8 per gallon by 2026. Now he's demanding an audit.
Number one is, does California Air Resources Board appropriately estimate the economic impacts of these decisions when they're making them on these regulations. Number two, do they meet legal transparency requirements?
Jones wants the audit to find out if CARB is weighing economic impacts of its regulations and if CARB has deliberately downplayed projected gas costs. He says CARB's policies are causing gas refineries to close in the state, driving up costs.
Gas prices in California can get up to $8.43 a gallon by December 2026. That's only 18 months from now. That's not very long. Californians can't afford $8.43 a gallon gasoline.
In response, a CARB spokesperson tells ABC 10 there is no tax associated with the LCFS and the state does not collect money from the program, adding that market forces drive costs but not regulators. CARB also says gas is likely to increase between 5 and 8 cents per gallon, and these high-end assumptions have no historical or documentable evidence. For now, drivers like Ross are trying to find any opportunity to cut costs.
We're carpooling. Just drive less, work at home for sure, you know. I mean, I don't know what the easy answer is, but raising gas prices isn't the answer.
Senator Brian Jones says the committee will hear his audit request in August. He has also launched a change.org petition to try and get ahead of the issue. Becca.
Jeannie, thank you very much. A federal appeals court is once again listening to arguments over the Trump administration's decision to deploy the California National Guard in Los Angeles. Now, this comes as other states are bracing for the deployment of military troops. And today, California Senator Alex Padilla spoke out on Capitol Hill after he was forcibly removed from a Homeland Security press conference last week. Melissa Adon has the latest tonight.
I pray you never have a moment like this.
California Democratic Senator Alex Padilla emotional on the Senate floor and describing this moment last week.
I'm Senator Alex Padilla.
When he was removed from Homeland Security Secretary Kristi Noem's press conference when he says he was trying to ask a question about immigration raids in Los Angeles.
I was forced to the ground. First on my knees, and then flat on my chest. And as I was handcuffed and marched down a hallway, repeatedly asking, why am I being detained?
Today, Senator Padilla, the ranking member of the Senate Judiciary Immigration Subcommittee, calling on lawmakers to speak out against the Trump administration.
What's happening is not just a threat to California, it's a threat to everyone in every state. If Donald Trump can bypass the governor and activate the National Guard to put down protests on immigrant rights, he can do it to suppress your rights, too.
A federal appeals court today is hearing arguments about President Trump's deployment of the California National Guard. Last week, a federal judge ruled the troops were deployed illegally, but that decision was put on hold for this appeal. The troops were sent to L.A. when protests broke out over immigration raids. The Pentagon telling ABC News they are now mobilizing up to 700 military personnel to provide logistical and administrative support to immigration enforcement officials on raids in Florida, Louisiana, and Texas. Melissa Adon, ABC News, Los Angeles.
And we streamed Senator Alex Padilla's full Senate floor on our ABC 10 Plus TV streaming app. You can find it on the home screen right now. Download the app to your TV and watch for free. Well, still ahead on To the Point, could open container zones be coming to downtown Sacramento? Why some say it's good for business and others say it's a bad mix.
And the heat peaks tomorrow. High is going to be near that century mark, but the good news is it cools off in a hurry. Full forecast coming up after the break.
And later, ABC 10 is celebrating Pride Month. Meet a local advocate creating safe spaces and spreading joy. We go down to ABC 10 meteorologist Brendan Minchef. Brendan, what's the latest with this fire weather?
Yeah, well, one of the things that, we always look at when we talk about fire is temperature, humidity, and wind. Well, temperature was much warmer today than where we've been the last few days. Made it to 93 in Sacramento. Up near the fire, we were in those mid to upper 80s. It was 84 Placerville, 89 in Jackson, 93 Stockton, 92 Modesto, upper 70s and low 80s in the high country. Here are some live looks at the Alert California cameras all pointed towards the fire. I got to tell you, the smoke plume is quite significantly less than what we had even just an hour ago. And you kind of heard Garsh Paul talk about that at the top of the show. But as we look at the Logtown camera, we still see some smoke. But what's happening now is that fire is starting to settle into some of the lower elevations here of El Dorado County, places like kind of in a canyon. So it's going to be a little bit harder to see actually what's happening on the ground from some of these cameras. But definitely there is still smoke. And from the Kingsville camera, you still see the smoke in the air there. So winds right now, really not much, about 5 to 10 miles per hour in the area of the fire. And that's really expected to be the case through the next several hours and the overnight hours as well. Temperature wise, we're still in the 80s, but starting to come down a little bit into those low to mid 80s in the area of the fire. Right now, 91 in Sacramento, 91 Stockton, and 90 in Modesto. But definitely it has been warmer, and in the valley, we're seeing that Delta breeze. So that wind starting to pick up a little bit in the valley, but that's not the case near the fire. As we look at the fire, there's the perimeter right now. Everywhere in red is an evacuation order, so leave now. Everywhere in yellow is an evacuation warning to be ready. Basically, if you are just on the west side of Highway 49 in El Dorado County, that is an evacuation order. If you're on the north side of the fire or on the east side of 49, that is an evacuation warning, which means to be ready. Taking a look at future winds, you see that Delta breeze across the valley, but it's still only about 10 miles per hour up near the area of the fire. That is going to be the case over the next several hours, and then through the overnight, 5 miles per hour or less. And then we'll see another Delta breeze tomorrow. So the good news is humidity will come back a little bit as we go deeper into the overnight, but winds are really not expected to pick up very much at all. Looking at temperatures for tomorrow, though, it's going to be even warmer. In the foothills, we're looking at low to mid 90s. And then as you go into those lower foothills, we're talking about some triple digits. 101 Tracy tomorrow, 94 Fairfield, 99 Vacaville, and across the valley, upper 90s and low triple digits. So almost 10 degrees warmer than normal for the time of year. But the good news is, Becca, temperatures come down in a hurry, low 80s by Saturday.
Brendan, thank you. Well, next on To The Point, how a new proposal could change Sacramento's downtown nightlife, plus a fire damages a beloved old Sacramento costume shop, how sprinklers saved it, and what comes next. We're continuing to monitor the Bonanza Fire in El Dorado County. It's burning about 2 miles east of Shingle Springs along Bonanza Auto Road. CAL FIRE says it has grown to 80 acres. Evacuations are underway for those living along and near Crystal Boulevard, China Hill Road, Quartz Drive, Bumper Road, and Sierra Oaks Drive. Evacuation warnings are in effect for those east of Highway 49. A temporary evacuation point has been set up at the Placerville Library. Well, a fire this morning damaged one of old Sacramento's most iconic stores, Evangeline's Costume Mansion. Most of the damage is contained to the ground floor of the building where that novelty shop is located. Crews say thick smoke made it hard to find the flames, but in the end, it was the sprinkler system that saved the building.
We could have potentially taken down this entire block without sprinklers. This is old construction, it's heavy timber, it's true dimensional lumber that was used.
The cause is still under investigation. Evangeline's announced the store will be temporarily closed for the foreseeable future. They say they will continue to update the community as they make progress and come back. A new proposal could change the way people experience downtown Sacramento. City leaders are considering designated entertainment zones where visitors could carry alcoholic drinks outside between bars and restaurants. Supporters say it could boost business and build community, but not everyone is on board.
An opportunity for business owners to share in outside events and to collaborate together, whether it's concerts, festivals, crafts fairs, and then have alcohol beyond our premise.
I just think adding alcohol into this mix is a bad idea because of the inability to control how drunk people get and how out of control their behavior becomes.
The City Council is expected to vote on the proposal June 24th. If passed, open containers would be allowed in select downtown areas. Well, June is Pride Month, and all this month, ABC 10 is celebrating the LGBTQ plus Pride community. Tonight, we speak with a woman in Placerville who organizes monthly get-togethers for members and supporters of the queer community. She's now thriving after a difficult journey of becoming her true self.
This was, I forget what show this was, but I saved it.
Becca Berry makes music sound great.
You seem to love this.
Yeah, I really love doing this. This is definitely a passion of mine.
She's the house audio engineer at the Green Room Social Club in Placerville, a bar and venue with live music just about every night.
It's really nice to be able to know the room, you know, like the frequency points in it.
She loves her job, she says, and her community.
This community itself is beautiful. I've lived here for 11 years now.
But her joy was, for a long time, muted.
I started transitioning when I was 34 years old, and the part of my life before then was pretty dark, to say the least.
Here's Becca, now 37, sharing her story at Placer Pride this year about coming out as a transgender woman.
I wanted to end all the pain and just not exist anymore. I truly felt that the world would be a better place without me in it. Eventually, I ended up getting arrested with a DUI, which led me to realizing that I needed to make some sort of change in my life. I figured that if I'm living every day hoping that I'm gonna die, I might as well try and finally live my life as my true self. So as terrifying as it was, I decided to come out to my work and announce publicly who I am to the world. I can honestly say today that I love myself, I love life, and I'm truly happy and look forward to living every day.
She says she has found her true self and her calling. Starting this year, Becca now organizes free queer community socials held at the Green Room one Sunday afternoon each month. It's an opportunity for members of the queer community and supporters to come together in a safe space, have family-friendly fun, and create friendships.
I've been very excited that we found this.
John Burnt and his partner Jeff recently moved to Placerville from LA. They found Becca's queer community socials soon after arriving.
And it has been really surprising, but also so genuinely moving to me that we have been able to find our people so fast in a rural area, in a town that is known for being much more conservative, and that it was our one thing that we weren't sure about. And it actually has been the most surprising and most wonderful part of the move here.
And allies of the queer community attend these events too.
It's just a bunch of people having fun, singing some karaoke.
Including Buck Ernest and his wife.
I think everybody should have the freedom to be happy and live the way that they want. It's not affecting you or your life in any shape or form. It's like live and let live, you know.
At a time when our society feels split and anti-trans sentiment and actions are on the rise nationwide,
If you want, you can just load it up right there.
Becca is inviting conversation.
I want people that even maybe don't necessarily understand queer people or maybe even necessarily agree with them, that if they want to see what people are like and get to know the community, come to this event and talk to us, see what we're about. I personally believe that the way that things can change in this world isn't by yelling at somebody, isn't by forcing my opinions on somebody, but instead is by working with understanding.
Discovering that we might have more in common than we realize.
What I would hope is that they can see in their hearts that all I want to do is exist in society, and I just want to be treated like everybody else. And I can honestly say today that I love myself and I love life. Like, the whole point of my event is that I want to share that with the world. I want other people in mainly this community, but in the world, to know that you're not alone, that however you're feeling right now, other people have felt this way. And for anybody out there, like, whether you're gay, you're queer, you're whatever, just try and love yourself. Finally, loving yourself is the best thing that you could ever do for yourself.
In Placerville, Becca Habiger, ABC 10.
The next Queer Community Social is on Sunday, June 29th from 4 to 7 at the Green Room Social Club in Placerville. It's free and everybody is welcome. We're back after this break. Before we go, another update on the Bonanza Fire in El Dorado County. CAL FIRE says it has grown to 80 acres and is 5% contained. It's burning about 2 miles east of Shingle Springs along Bonanza Auto Road. Evacuations are underway for those living along and near Crystal Boulevard, China Hill Road, Quartz Drive, Bumper Road, and Sierra Oaks Drive. Evacuation warnings are in effect for those east of Highway 49, and a temporary evacuation point has been set up at the Placerville Library. Thank you so much for watching. If you have something you think we should be looking into, reach out to the team. We'll see you back here tomorrow.